Alright, hello everyone. So, last video I did on Delirium was meant to be like a really condensed and short video introducing like the basics and how to farm the Delirium mechanic. But now that I've farmed Delirium for the past couple of days, probably farmed around about a total of 24 hours of Delirium mechanic, I think I have a very good understanding of how the Delirium mechanic works. So we're gonna do a much more detailed guide to farming Delirium properly. So first things first, I'm gonna assume that you have the full Atlas tree unlocked, and you have the full Deli nodes all spec'd in. Every node in the Delirium tree is very important. Make sure you have everything. And then the most important node over here, or the question that I get asked the most, is how do you drop Simulacrum splinters? And this node on the top right over here, this top right node, you have to have this spec'd in order for the Simulacrum splinters to drop. So make sure this is spec'd in. This should be one of your first priority node. As for the keystone, the top node actually spreads the fog a lot bigger, and then the second node spreads it a lot less because it's a flat 4%, flat 4 extra maps compared to the top one, which each Delirium fog map rolls to 50% to spread an additional map. So if you multiply that by like the 8 or 9 maps that you spread it to, and then yeah, that's a lot of additional maps. So this actually spreads it a lot more. So yeah, it depends on if you want to just rush the Simulacrum, then the second node is good. But if you want to try to spread out the Delirium fog as much as possible, then the top node is good. So yeah, you can decide which one you're gonna take. All right, and then thing I'm gonna do first is I'm actually going to kill the Delirium boss first. And when you're killing the boss, the map will load. No, thank you. Of course, the map glitches out. Alright, sorry about that. So, yeah, I'm gonna do the boss first. Make sure when you're killing the boss, Delirium boss, or any other pinnacle boss, make sure that you have this node enabled. So, yeah. So the reason why I am showing the boss of the Delirium first is because my build currently is probably the minimum amount of DPS that I would consider farming this mechanic. So yeah, if you can't kill this boss around about that similar speed as what I'm about to do right now, then yeah, it's going to be very difficult trying to farm Delirium, especially at the 200% or 150 to 200% delied maps. Those are really, really brutal. So you want to have at least this amount of DPS if you want to be able to farm efficiently. So yeah, that is probably the minimum amount of DPS required in order to farm these 150 or higher Delirious maps. So yeah, that's the minimum requirements. Okay, so let's go through the Delirium mechanic and how to actually farm this. I'll just chuck it into some dump tab. So, firstly, my master. This is the master tree that you want to do. I'll explain why later, but this is very important. You want to have these 4 exact nodes for the master tree. And then as you're doing delirious maps, you have a pretty high chance of spawning these grand mirrors. Let's say, like, you know, if you run like 3 or 4 maps, maybe 5-ish, let's just say 5 just to be safe. Every like 4 or 5 maps or so, you will spawn these grand mirrors somewhere nearby. And then you want to run the maps with the grand mirror in order to spread the delirium fog everywhere. So I'll go through the tablets and the actual detailed atlas tree later. But firstly, explaining the Delirium mechanic. Right now, I am running tier 15, 6 to 8 modded maps. I'm self-corrupting my tier 15 maps and just running them, regardless of modifiers. Sometimes the maps get very rippy because of that, and I brick a lot, brick maps sometimes, but hopefully not too much. I will play this a lot because I don't want to actually like brick the map while I'm recording the video. I'll play it a little bit slower than I usually go. Thankfully, it does seem like it is a soft map. So as I've explained in the last video, when you start the league mechanic, you have this gauge over here, this progress bar. This is the delirium fog. So right at the start of the map, you can see the delirium fog spreads throughout the whole map, and then it dissipates from the back. So you can see right on the end, the left end of the progress bar, it kind of diminished a little bit. That's the delirium fog dissipating. So you want to keep ahead of the delirium fog, and you want to stay inside the delirium fog as much as possible. These sort of question mark things, they are called the mirror shards, and these give special effects when you go approach them and then shatter them. And then these random shards over here, these are fracturing shards, if I get the terminology right. Let me just quickly check. Yes, so the fracturing shards, these just spawn the delirium mobs. They're not that useful, actually. I thought that they were the ones that give simulacrum splinters, and they do, but it's a very insignificant amount, so you don't really care too much about these fracturing shards. The only thing you should be caring about are the mirror shards that are showing on the progress bar over here. And once the next progress mirror shard shows. So this is the purple mirror shard, and the purple mirror shard basically spawns a tough monster. It's not actually that tough. It's like a normal monster that is a little bit stronger, and once you kill it, I think it empowers the rest of the Delirium pack in the map, or it just like drops some Simulacrum splinters. So those are the main mobs that drop Simulacrum splinters, the purple mirror shards. Or not. Those actually don't matter too much either. So that's the green mirror shard over there. And what the green mirror shard do is green mirror shard definitely empowers the mobs around the green mirror shards to be able to drop the liquid emotions. But yes, I think it just empowers the mobs around the green mirror shard that you shattered to be able to drop liquid emotions. So that's the green mirror shard. The final mirror shard that can spawn is the red one, and hopefully we're going to be able to see the red mirror shard soon. So how you want to be running these maps is you want to be spawning as many grand mirrors as possible. So you just want to rush the boss and try to dig for grand mirrors. Basically, 90% of the loot is concentrated in the Delirium fogs. These regular maps are sort of like your gateway, your way, and your ticket to getting into the grand mirror Delirium fogs. So you really want to be farming Delirium fog areas. Okay, so we're at the boss. When you're inside the boss has a chance to spawn a very special mirror shard over here. And then that can empower the boss and give you a lot of Delirium splinters. I'm not sure what that actually looks like. It just looks green to me, but generally around the boss arena, there's a lot of fracturing shards and mirror shards. So that is always a good sign. This map, however, has the Grand Mirror. And what the Grand Mirror is going to do is the Grand Mirror is going to spawn a duplicate of the map boss. And you have to kill both of them at the same time. And once you do kill both of them, you're going to be able to spread the Delirium fog everywhere. So the other boss is going to spawn. And that is both of the bosses down. So once you have killed both of the bosses, you want to interact with the Grand Mirror. Just like that. And then it says here, select one map. How it's going to work is you want to, let's say, this is perfect actually, because this is very close by. So you can't just spread the fog anywhere. You can see I'm clicking on all these maps and it's not actually spreading. It's because the type of maps you can actually spread the fog to are the ones that kind of have this swirling things around it. So you really want to kind of you want to try to pick where the best place is to spread the Delirium fog. Actually, this is perfect. I'm actually going to spread it over here for a very, very particular reason, and this is going to be really important. This is actually one of the best things that could happen over here. So I'm going to spread it over here. So you can see that spread the Delirium fog around that area like that, and it also spawned a Simulacrum in one of the areas. Only one Simulacrum. It might be because it was a little bit too close to the other Delirium that it kind of got blocked, which is a little unfortunate. I was hoping it would spread a little bit further that direction. So yeah, that's how you spread the Delirium fog. Alright, and then once you finish the Delirium encounter, how do I get the Simulacrum splinters? Well, the Simulacrum splinters has been dropping as we were finding the mobs, and in order to claim them, you just want to finish the Delirium encounter like that, and you get 4 Simulacrum splinters. So you see, I only got 4 splinters because I've killed one purple mirror shard, and 2 of these. This was the purple mirror shard, and I had 3 green mirror shards, and the green mirror shards make you drop liquid emotions, and the purple ones drop Simulacrum splinters. Alright, so now the main meat of the Delirium farming. So we're gonna go into a Delirium fog, not the one I just spread, because that only has 10% deliriousness. So let's try to do something that is a little bit more delirious. I'm scared I'm gonna die if I do 200% delirious map. Probably not if I play cautiously. Okay. 200% delirious map. And the actual map we're going to do is very important. So this is where you're going to get most of your loot. And right now, the most important instilled emotions you can farm is the ferocious and the ferocity and contempt, right? So the potent emotions. So ancient potent, no, potent liquid liquid ferocity and potent liquid contempt. How do we farm ferocity and contempt? Well, they only drop from beast unique mobs and construct unique mobs. And I've been thinking about this for a long time on how to farm beast and construct unique mobs. And the answer is boss maps. Right, so we're going to be boss rushing and killing as many bosses as quickly as possible. The beast mobs are kind of around about in these sort of grass and forest areas. They're not generally in the mountains, I believe, but I will have to research more into that, and then I'll keep you guys updated on exactly which boss is which. But construct, the big jackpot potent emotion, is the potent liquid of contempt. These go for I think like 5 divs right now. Potent liquid of contempt going for 5.5 divs, or so 6 divs if you slicer, right? And why did I spread the delirium over here? Well, it's because these are Val City. And Val City have, well, a lot of these have the sort of the tribal guys, but the boss can also be one of the underground machine boss. And that machine boss is a construct. So if you want to try to farm the contempt liquid emotion, then you want to sort of spread it into the cities. Another really good thing about cities is you can place a fourth tablet in the city, so that is also very, very good. Alright, so running these high delirious maps, I will full send the 200% delirious. I believe this one was 8 modded. Both of these are 8, no, that one's 6 modded. I don't really read modifiers, but I don't really want to die while I'm recording the video. That was very loud. So just quickly reading the modifier. So this is a 200% delirious map. And I'll talk about the tablets now. The tablets I'm running is 1 irradiated and 2 delirium tablets. And the modifiers that you really want to look out for is increased effectiveness, and delirium encounters in map are more likely to spawn unique bosses. This over here, this line is the one most important line in the whole in all the tablets that we can use. We are using irradiated because, firstly, this is a bit of a rant. This is bugged. This is bugged. It doesn't actually make the maps irradiated, and I do believe that having a higher monster level is actually very, very, very good for the loot drops. I did do a lot of testing on whether or not doing tier 16 maps are better than tier 15. I spent a whole day farming tier 16 maps. And I didn't really notice a very substantial difference. So I think tier 16 maps right now, because Fubgun and the Fubgooners are all farming Ritual, and Ritual benefits a lot from tier 16 maps. They're going for 40 exalts each, and at that point, better to just sell the tier 16 maps. I didn't notice that significant of a difference. And also, we're really not full clearing the maps because we want to try to rush the boss as quickly as possible. So it's a little bit of a waste. Anyways, so Delirium encounters are more likely to spawn unique bosses. This is the most important line in everything else. After that, the other suffix doesn't really matter too much. Trying to farm many splinters is a really big bait. It's a really big trap because the splinters don't actually make up much of your profit at all. Most of your profit farming these delirium maps is just going for tinks. So on average, I get around about like 2 or 3 tinks every map that I run. Those tinks makes up a majority of the profit, right? A full, like a stack of 30 splinters in a map, right? That's like what? 30 exalt, 40 exalt maybe. They don't really mean much when you're getting like 3 or 4 divs per map, okay? So the splinters are not too important. This Delirium encounters in map are more likely to spawn unique bosses because these unique bosses are the ones that give you the rare instilled emotions that are worth multiple divines, and they also drop a lot more liquid emotions, and they drop stacks of 20 to 30 Simulacrum splinters as well. These unique bosses are the main source of your Simulacrum splinters as well. Okay, and then as for the rest, just generic. Increased effectiveness is probably the best prefix modifier that you can have. Aside from that, more rares, monster rarity. And then on the Irradiator tablet, I always like to have map has 1 or 2 additional random modifier. This one is the one that I go for on these Irradiated tablets. And the rest, again, effectiveness, monster rarity, increased number of rare monsters. These are all good modifiers. So that's the setup over here. And then, again, make sure the master mission is Hilda's Hunting. And remember I said we want to boss rush to the Delirium boss. And we want to have the boss drop as many things as possible. So all of these nodes are map bosses, upgrades to powerful map bosses. So if you have one of the construct bosses, it gets upgraded to a powerful map boss to drop even better rewards. Map bosses have increased effectiveness. Again, this is more quant over here. Increased effectiveness of unique monsters with modifiers. Usually map bosses do not get modifiers, but because we're farming Delirium, map bosses is always going to have a Delirium modifier. So this is always effective. This is the best. This is pretty much the single reason why we're running Hilda. And then increased effect of tablets because we're running 2 different tablets. This is giving us 50% increased effect of tablets. Alright, so this is 200% Delirious. This is the hardest content in PoE2 by far. You saw me make a joke of that Delirious Map boss. Deli Map boss. This is not a joke. I can die. I have bricked many maps. But even though I am bricking maps, I am still farming way more than I'm losing by bricking maps. Again, average 2 or 3 tanks, very consistent 2 or 3 tanks. Minimum like 3 or 4 divines worth of loot every map. When you're dropping that much, if you're losing out on 1 div on a map, it doesn't really matter too much. You want to be boss rushing as much as possible. So we don't really want to be dying, but we do want to try to make our way towards the boss. Green makes things drop liquid emotions. So there is no progress bar anymore. There is no progress bar, but those fracturing mirrors are still going to be spawning. So you do want to keep a lookout on those. Again, the thing we're looking for the most is the red one. The red fracturing, the red mirror shard is the one that spawns unique bosses. So that one, as I said, that one is the one that drops Delirium splinters. So you can see, spawns a big guy, and that big guy is going to drop a Simulacrum splinter. Alright, it was on the left side. Yeah, you can see these rares, the rare monsters, Delirium bosses, they die instantly. The rare monsters in 200% deli maps, not so much. You're fighting pinnacle bosses constantly. in these 200% Delirious maps. So you can see those purple shards are giving us the liquid emotions. Really hoping I get a tank here so that I can showcase what I mean. Okay, we have reached the boss arena. The entrance is on the other side. Very good. No tanks. That's a little bit unfortunate. I might die here. Oh my god, that was close. Almost brick the map just so I can pick up a alchemy orb. So yeah, you can see that rare mob not dying. Okay, I don't know what I got hit by. There was another rare mob. Again, they just, this is brutal. 200% deli.
Need more time.
Okay, he chunked me for basically all of my HP. Okay, this is very unfortunate that I didn't get a single tank. But this is basically what you want to be doing. Just is the curse of recording YouTube videos. Alright, so... And then... Once you have stacked up enough deliriousness, so you can see these are 115% delirious. If you have more than 100% deliriousness, you can enter the simulacrums. And then for the simulacrums, I'm just running them 8 modded. They seem to work a lot better than tier 16 maps. And you just kind of run this. It is very straightforward. Simulacrum is like the easiest part in all of this. All of Delirium. This is completely trivial. If you can farm 200% Delirious content, this is just trivial. So yeah, I can just AFK here all day. So this is going to take a little bit, so feel free to skip forward. Or if you want to see,
she lost everything.
So on average, I seem to around about get 1 tank on the Simulacrum on average. Simulacrums are currently worth around about 5 divines per entry. So another big benefit of boss rushing these Delirious maps is that you're essentially farming Simulacrums, right? So the more maps you run, the more Delirium fogs you can get, and the more Delirium fogs you can get, the more Simulacrums you're getting. So essentially you're just trying to get as many Simulacrums as possible as well in order to get these 5 div entry for basically free. Well, not basically free, for free. So on average, whether or not it's like a rare emotion or just a raw divine, it's roughly around about 1 tink on the Simulacrum maps.
Oh No souls will be sung for you. You abandoned them. Her heart was broken before it was stabbed.
Though that red field over there is dangerous. So the the most dangerous things in Simulacrum is not actually the mobs itself. It is the Simulacrum, sorry, not Simulacrum. The most dangerous thing in Delirium is not actually the Delirium mobs itself. It is those Delirium modifiers. So there's the average one tank that I talked about.
Because of your lies, he believed you could protect them. He couldn't even protect himself.
But yeah, the Delirium modifiers have various different attacks that it can do. One of them is like a fire slice that happens. A lot of them are on death effects. So it's not actually on death, but you should be melting enemies like pretty much spawning as they spawn in. So, but they persist even after the monsters die, which is a really big problem. So it essentially kind of hits you when you think you're safe because the mobs are all dead.
He was a fool to put his trust in you. His power wanes and he shrivels to nothing.
If you're curious about what this build is, then I will also record a build guide at a future date, sometime soon. I actually do think it's a very good build. I had a viewer come into my stream earlier today and just decided, hey, this build looks pretty cool, I want to copy it. And he's been enjoying it a lot as well. Says it's really strong, really OP. So yeah, could be pretty good. I am playing basically Spell Totem Spark. I'm playing Spell Totem Spark, but the twist is I'm playing it on a Gemling Legionnaire instead of Oracle or Blood Mage. Blood Mage and Oracle is probably better for basically the vast majority of the game. So anything below like 2 mirrors of investment, Blood Mage and Oracle is probably going to be better. But around about 1.5 to 2 mirrors is the break-even point where kind of this Gemling Legionnaire can show us benefit. Anyways, voices? Not quite. Isolation, there we go. A 7 divine tank, just like that. 8 divines.
Sold it.
Alright, so that is all of the Delirium mechanics over there. So the general gist of it is you boss rush with the tablets. To recap the tablets, you want to get as many of the Delirium map encounters in the map and more likely spawn unique bosses. This is the 2 most important line. You want 2 of those, and then you want 1 irradiated tablet with additional random modifier. You run tier 15, 6 modded to 8 modded, and then you run those until you get a Delirium mirror or Grand Mirror. Grand Mirror, spread the fog out, run the fog, boss rush until you can run the Simulacrum, and then move on to the next area, and rinse and repeat. So, while you're kind of boss rushing, because you are actually boss rushing, also it's very nice to try to pass towards these Jade Isles, the Gargantuan map, the Matriarch holes, these Citadels, and the holes, things like that. Those are all secondary benefits of boss rushing as well. And then Hilda's I always run Hilda with 1, 2, 3, these 4. And that's pretty much the strategy. I've been making even so, the main profit from the strategy is not actually the liquid emotions and the simulacrum splinters. It is just the raw amount of tinks that you are getting just from running these Delirium maps, right? These Delirium maps are giga juiced and they give giga juice currency as well. If you want to see like a live recording, I've kind of YouTube live streamed my farming session that was done at the same day of this video. So if you want to go through that VOD, you can do that and then see the actual amount of drops that I was getting. But on average, you're getting 2 or 3 tanks per map, and you're very, very frequently getting like 30 divine plus big tanks. And those big tanks are going to be the things that are making the vast majority of your profit running this map. So without those big tanks, you're making around about 15-20 divine per hour steady. And then when you're getting those big tanks, you're just like getting 30, 40, 50, you know, a lot more divines per hour with the strategy. So yeah, hopefully that helps everyone trying to farm Delirium. And good luck farming, Exiles. Stay safe.